You've probably heard of 75 hard. You may have even heard of 75 soft. But have you heard of 30 soft? I'll be honest, I'm not even sure if it's an actual thing that people do. I found some references to it on TikTok, but I'm mostly just making this up myself. I've never seen anyone do 30 soft. But I can barely commit to sticking to habits for a week, let alone for 75 days. 75 hard seemed way too extreme for me, and 75 soft even seemed a little too much to commit to. So instead, I decided I'd try for 30 days and see how that goes. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Kate. I'm 30 years old and living in Brisbane, Australia, sharing my life experiences with the internet. I'm not officially diagnosed, but my psychologist definitely thinks that I have ADHD, which absolutely contributes to my ability to stick to habits and things like that. So I figured trying a 30-day challenge where I have to try to commit to these things, and obviously I'm sharing it with people online, so I'm accountable to at least someone in regards to completing this challenge. So I thought this would be a fun way to start off my 2024. I'm not actually using any rules that I've found. I've taken the rules from 75 hard and 75 soft and just sort of altered them to fit myself better and where I am in life. In no way is this me telling you what you should be doing if you wanted to do a challenge like this. This is just my interpretation of things that I think would be good for me to try to do for 30 days to improve my physical health, my mental health, and just my life in general. We're going to be going over the rules that I'm going to be following for this challenge for the first 30 days of 2024, which will take me almost to the end of January. If you'd like to follow along with the journey, it'd be great to have you joining in. You can follow me over on Instagram, where I will hopefully be posting a lot of daily updates on my stories and doing some reels of the compilations of the things that I'm doing. I'm also going to be recording hopefully some weekly vlogs throughout the process. So hopefully you will get a vlog a week of me trying to fulfill all of these challenge rules that I am about to set for myself. I can't guarantee that there will be a lot of content in each vlog. Being at work 9 hours a day makes it a bit tricky, and I'm still getting comfortable with recording myself while I'm at home with my partner. But I will try to get as much as I can into some vlogs for you guys to show you some of the things I'm doing. I'll be sharing some of the recipes that I am making, some of the books that I'm reading, all that sort of stuff. So that all of this makes sense, let's jump into the rules that I am setting myself for this 30-day challenge. My first rule is to eat a piece of fruit every day. I'm really not very good at eating fruit, and that's definitely something that I want to improve. So we just bought a juicer in our Black Friday sales. You can check out my video on everything we bought on Black Friday. And so hopefully I'm going to be able to use that juicer to make myself some nice healthy juices with lots of fruit and other healthy benefits to them. Being someone that's not particularly health conscious, don't really know necessarily what's healthy. Obviously I've found a lot of stuff on the internet, but if you have any suggestions for recipes, either for juices or just anything that incorporates fruit, if you are someone who struggles to eat fruit but you have suggestions on how you got better at that, please let me know down in the comments. Would love to hear it. It's not always necessarily going to be healthy fruit either. One of the things that I have on my list that I would like to make are things like some apple pastries, some fruit cobbler, things like that. I'm not necessarily trying to go fully healthy with it. I just want to make sure I am incorporating more fruit into my diet. Rule number 2 is that I want to track my calories every day and have a deficit 80% of the time throughout the 30-day period. So in order to do that, I use an app called MyFitnessPal, which is definitely available on Android. I'm not sure if it's available on iPhone. I would assume so. Use MyFitnessPal to track my calories. It's great. You can type in things that you've eaten. You can scan barcodes. It will register quite a lot of barcodes actually to record the food that you've eaten. So according to that, I did a bit of a questionnaire on it of my goals and my current weight and all of those sorts of things. According to that, I'm aiming for 1,720 calories per day. So rule number 3 is to only drink alcohol on special occasions. Now, I'm not someone who goes out particularly often, so special occasions for me could just be we're going out for a drink with our friends. I'm not going to be super strict on this rule, but I just don't want to be having a drink on a Friday afternoon at work like I usually would, and trying to avoid drinking at home on the weekends. Next up, I have a couple of fitness related goals. So the next goal is to average 20,000 steps per week. That doesn't mean that I have to do a certain amount of steps per day. By the end of the week, which I'm counting as Monday through Sunday, I want to have done 20,000 steps throughout the entire week. Now that could have been 2,000 steps on one day, 8,000 steps on the next day. It doesn't really matter how many I'm doing each day. Just a total of 20,000 per week is what I'm going to be aiming for. So my next rule is trying to do 10 minutes of cycling per day. I bought a indoor stationary bike. I bought that last year. I think it was on Amazon Prime Day, so we got some pretty good deals on that. I bought that and I just want to get a little bit better at using that regularly. I wanted to try to make it 20 minutes per day, but we are in summer in Australia and I've tried getting on it a couple of times in the last week and it just is so hot, incredibly sweaty, not nice at all. So I decided to make it 10 minutes per day instead. Especially if I'm doing it every day, that still should add up pretty well. And then the rest of my rules are more lifestyle related. So the next one is to read 2 chapters of a book every day. Chapters can be a little bit tricky depending on what book I'm reading. It may end up becoming a page related goal, but I usually read based on chapters. I won't say that I'm going to read 10 pages, I'll say that I'm going to read a chapter. But I have read a couple of books recently where the chapters have been quite long, and so I haven't really been reading as many chapters as I would have liked. So depending on the book that I'm reading, that goal may change a little bit, but what I'm aiming for currently is 2 chapters per day of reading. I also want to do 15 minutes of cleaning every day. This can include the washing up in the morning, tidying off a shelf, any sort of decluttering or anything. I have a few decluttering projects that I want to get to this year, whether or not those happen in January, not sure yet, but 15 minutes of some form of cleaning around my house every single day. My next 2 relate to my morning routine. So first up is making sure I have breakfast every morning and also having my matcha. I've gotten moderately into matchas in the last year. I've never liked coffee. I don't like energy drinks or anything like that, so I've never really had a source of caffeine. Caffeine's never really seemed to impact me all that much, but I know matcha has a lot of extra benefits to it, in addition to being a caffeine-based drink for your mornings. And I've never really been much of a breakfast person, which I'm trying to get better at lately, because obviously breakfast is the most important meal of the day according to everybody. So I'm trying to get better at eating my breakfasts, and this can be incorporated with my fruit goal as well. Sometimes my breakfast might just be a bowl of fruit. Again, it's mostly going to be my weekdays that happens. My weekends I prefer to sort of sleep in a little bit and have a bit more of a relaxed start to my day. I'm not as concerned about that on weekends, but definitely my 5 working days every week, I want to make sure I am doing those things. And the next one is my daily skincare routine, which is another thing that I usually do before work in the mornings. I have my cleanser and my sunscreen that I try to do every morning, and then my moisturizer, which I usually do before bed at night. I'm not particularly good at doing it every day. I'm getting better. I'm getting much better than I have been in the past. I haven't had a skincare routine at all prior to last year, so anything that I'm doing is better than what I used to do, but I really want to try to make sure I'm doing that every single day. Next up is my weekly planning and budgeting. I've been spending a lot of money towards the end of this year, just with going on our cruise, coming back, having Black Friday sales, having a job that's actually stable and secure that I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be in a year's time, has definitely contributed to my spending. Also getting so much back into reading. I've been buying so many books. I've just been spending a lot of money in the second half of this year, so I really want to try to get on top of that, start budgeting every week and making sure I'm following that budget. I also last year started following the Moxie Life goal setting system. If you don't know anything about it, I recommend looking it up. It's really great. I think it's good for people with ADHD. You set some goals at the start of the year, then you set goals based on your yearly goals, you set monthly goals, and then based on those monthly goals, you set weekly tasks. Now they have planners that you can buy that tell you how to follow this entire system, but you can find a lot of it online through YouTube and through their free resources. And then I just do mine digitally. I do most of it in Notion, and then I have my to-do list in a software called TickTick. But I'm probably going to go over a little bit more of that in potentially my first weekly vlog of this challenge, so you guys can see what goals I've set for 2024 and what goals I've set for January, and trying to work through that and incorporating that into my routine. But yes, part of that system is that every week you're supposed to review your week, you're supposed to review your goals, and you're supposed to set your tasks for the following week. So I really want to make sure I'm getting into the habit of doing that every week. I started off really strong with it early last year, and then it sort of fell off, which is not really surprising. Everyone's a bit like that getting into January. Everyone starts getting really amped up for the new year and getting all of their habits and routines organized, and then it all just kind of falls off throughout the year. But I really want to try to make sure I'm following that habit and really sticking with that at least for the month of January. Hopefully doing it every week in January will make it more likely for me to continue doing it throughout the rest of the months. And finally, we're up to number 11. I've gone 1 over 10, but my 11th one is just to take a weekly progress photo. So I think 75 Hard wants you to take a progress photo every day. It seems like a lot. It's really hard to tell what changes are happening with your body if you're taking a photo every single day. Whereas if you're taking one every week, you have a little bit more time for the things that you're doing to take effect. Now, obviously, I'm not going super hard into any of the fitness here. I'm only putting in 15 minutes worth of strong fitness and a little bit of a step goal and some calorie deficit work going on here, which, as I list out all of those things, sounds like a lot. It's not going too hard into the fitness and diet like 75 Hard and even a lot of 75 Soft challenges do. I'd like to take that weekly progress photo just to see how I'm going. Obviously, weekly progress photo is a photo of yourself and your body and how that is looking and how you're changing. I am looking to try to lose some weight in 2024, and those are the rules that I am going to be attempting to be following throughout the month of January. If you are interested in following along, obviously you can follow me over on Instagram, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel here so that you can follow along with my weekly vlogs. I'll go into a little bit more depth here on YouTube on how everything's going, and hopefully have some chats to you guys about how I am actually feeling rather than just seeing my progress as I do each of these things that I am trying to succeed. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really like to see you guys back here. If you have any tips for myself for this challenge, please let me know down in the comments. If you're wanting to follow along with the challenge, if you're interested in joining me, please let me know. If you have a public Instagram account or a YouTube or anything, I would love to follow you as well and get to watch you progress through these goals and probably do much better at it than I do. Let me know down in the comments if you're planning on joining me throughout the challenge. I would love to have some community support and know that there are actually people who are holding me accountable to following these goals. I think it would definitely help me in succeeding in this a little bit better. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you again in the next video.